Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare Kennedy half-dollar coin that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Coin number 1. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of American numismatics to uncover the incredible story behind a coin that's turning heads in the collector world, the Kennedy half-dollar with the 1776 to 1976 dual date and the Denver Mint mark. Now, at first glance, this coin might look just like pocket change. It might even be sitting in your drawer or pass through your hands at some point without a second thought. But here's the twist: this particular bicentennial half-dollar isn't just a tribute to American history, it could be worth a small fortune. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why some collectors are willing to pay big money for the right one and just how high that price tag can go. Let's rewind for a moment. The year 1976 marked a huge milestone for the United States, the 200th anniversary of American independence. To commemorate the bicentennial, the U.S. Mint released special edition coins with dual dates, 1776 to 1976, across 3 denominations: the quarter, the dollar, and, of course, the half-dollar. Unlike regular coins that change design infrequently, these bicentennial issues featured new patriotic imagery that captured the spirit of the nation's birth. The Kennedy half-dollar, already a symbol of modern American legacy, took on a whole new level of significance in this release. The obverse kept the familiar, dignified portrait of President John F. Kennedy, a tribute to a leader who represented hope and progress. But the reverse was something truly special. Designed by Seth G. Huntington, the back of the coin features Independence Hall in Philadelphia, where the Declaration of Independence was signed. Beneath the stately building is the inscription, 200 Years of Freedom, a proud reminder of the country's revolutionary journey. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Not all bicentennial half-dollars are created equal. While millions of these coins were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, some versions are significantly more rare and valuable than others. The Kennedy half-dollar with a D mint mark indicating it was struck in Denver has gained special attention among collectors, especially in pristine condition or with unusual features. The key to the value of this coin lies in a few factors: rarity, condition, and potential mint errors. Let's start with rarity. Even though millions were made, only a tiny fraction of these coins remain in gem uncirculated or proof condition today. Over the years, most bicentennial halves have seen heavy use pass through hands, dropped in change jars, or worn down in circulation. But the few that were set aside in perfect condition, untouched by time, are now hot commodities in the collector market. Condition grading is everything in numismatics. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, and those at the top, known as MS67, MS68, or even MS69, can command staggering prices. A Kennedy half-dollar from 1776 to 1976 with a Denver Mint mark that scores high on this scale, showing full luster, no scratches, and perfect strike details, becomes a treasure for any serious collector. But wait, there's another twist that can boost the value of this coin even higher: minting errors. These are rare mistakes that occur during the production process, and collectors love them. Double strikes, off-center prints, missing clad layers, and misaligned dies can all create one-of-a-kind versions of the bicentennial half-dollar. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that's not only historic, but truly unique, something no one else in the world has. Combine these elements: scarcity, condition, and potential errors, and you've got a recipe for an incredibly valuable piece of American history. There are even rumors in collector circles about special strike varieties that were never meant for circulation, possibly produced for presentation or experimental purposes, and these rare finds could fetch a serious premium beyond the technical value. This coin represents a powerful story. It connects 2 defining moments in U.S. history: the fight for independence in 1776, and the ongoing journey of freedom and democracy symbolized by the legacy of President Kennedy. For many collectors, it's more than metal, it's meaning. Now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. What's this coin actually worth in today's market? Well, if you're holding a regular circulated bicentennial half-dollar, it might be worth only face value or a few bucks. But if you've got a 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar with a D mint mark, in flawless, uncirculated condition, especially with a rare error or high grade, you could be sitting on a collector's dream. Believe it or not, one of these rare Kennedy half-dollars has been known to sell for as much as $75,000. That's right. A coin that was once worth just 50 cents could now be worth more than a luxury car. So before you toss that old coin in your change jar, take a second look, it could be a life-changing find. Thanks for joining us today on this incredible numismatic journey. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Kennedy bicentennial half dollar and want to learn more about other rare coins that could be hiding in plain sight, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a discovery. Until next time, keep hunting, keep collecting, and who knows, your next treasure might just be hiding in your pocket. Coin number 2. If you've ever held onto some old pocket change thinking, it's probably worthless, today's video might just make you dig a little deeper. Because we're about to uncover the incredible story behind a coin that often flies under the radar, but in the right condition, could be worth a jaw-dropping fortune. We're talking about the United States Kennedy half dollar from the year 1981, minted in Philadelphia, and yes, we mean the one with the little P mint mark. You might be thinking, wait, 1981? That doesn't seem that old or rare. And that's exactly what makes this story so fascinating. Most people overlook this coin entirely. But as you'll see today, the right 1981 P Kennedy half dollar could be hiding in plain sight, and if you happen to own one with just the right qualities, it might just be worth far more than you'd ever expect. Let's set the stage. The Kennedy half dollar was first introduced in 1964, following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The U.S. Mint quickly designed and released this coin as a tribute to a leader who had inspired a generation. Ever since then, the Kennedy half dollar has held a special place in American culture and in the hearts of collectors. By the time we get to 1981, the coin had already been in circulation for nearly 2 decades. But here's the thing, by this point, half dollars weren't used much in daily transactions anymore. Most Americans were already moving away from using them, and banks weren't ordering them in large quantities. That means fewer coins were minted and even fewer made it into regular circulation. The 1981 Kennedy half dollars were part of a special release for collectors in coin sets, and that fact alone makes them more interesting than your average half dollar. But today we're focusing on a very specific version, the 1981 Kennedy half dollar minted in Philadelphia, marked with a small letter P just above the date. Coins from this particular batch are special for a few reasons. First, the total mintage was relatively low compared to earlier years. Second, many of these coins were only issued in mint sets, sealed collections meant for collectors, not for general circulation. That means if someone broke open a mint set and that coin entered the wild, its journey likely included scratches, wear, and fading detail. So finding a 1981 P Kennedy half dollar in absolutely pristine, untouched condition? That's a serious challenge, and that's what makes it so valuable. And now let's talk about the coin's design. On the obverse, we see the bold, dignified profile of President John F. Kennedy, a symbol of youth, vision, and leadership. It's a portrait that's been used for decades, but each year brings its own subtle variations in the strike, relief, and detail. On the reverse side, you'll find the presidential seal, an eagle clutching arrows, and an olive branch, representing America's strength and its commitment to peace. Around the eagle are 50 stars, representing the 50 states. It's an iconic design that reflects national pride and presidential legacy. What really sets the 1981 P Kennedy half dollar apart, though, is the intense collector demand for coins in perfect condition. We're talking about coins that have never been touched by human hands, never circulated, and show absolutely no wear under magnification. In the coin world, these are called MS coins, short for mint state. And when a coin is graded MS67, MS68, or, in extremely rare cases, even higher, it becomes a numismatic treasure. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC have graded thousands of Kennedy half dollars, but only a tiny handful of 1981 P coins have ever reached those top mint state grades. That makes them exceptionally rare. But what makes them even more exciting is the possibility of mint errors, tiny mistakes made during the striking process that actually increase a coin's value. These might include double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet errors. A mint error on a coin that's already rare and uncirculated? That's the kind of thing collectors dream about. You might be wondering, how does a coin that once cost just 50 cents become a coveted collector's item? It's all about rarity, condition, and demand. Coin collecting isn't just about age. It's about how many coins survived in top-tier condition. And the 1981 P Kennedy half dollar checks every box. It's limited, hard to find in perfect shape, and increasingly valuable in the collector's market. So what should you do if you think you have one of these coins? First, handle it with care, preferably using gloves or by the edges only. Second, check for that little P mint mark above the date. Then, take a close look at the coin's surface. Is it shiny and crisp, or dull and worn? If it looks flawless, you might want to send it to a professional grading service. A small investment in grading could result in a huge payout, especially if your coin turns out to be one of the top condition examples known to exist. And now, the part you've all been waiting for. Just how much could this seemingly ordinary coin be worth? Believe it or not, a 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with a Philadelphia mint mark, in nearly perfect condition with a top MS grade, has been known to sell for as much as $68,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that was minted for 50 cents could now be worth more than some people's annual salary, all because it's rare, untouched, and in demand. So go check those old coin folders, that dusty box of collectibles in the attic, or the forgotten change drawer. You might be holding onto a piece of American history that's not just meaningful, but incredibly valuable. Thanks for tuning in today. If you found this video interesting, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss another amazing coin story. We've got plenty more treasures to uncover, and you never know when the next one could be in your very own collection. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your coins safe, because sometimes, the rarest treasures are the ones hiding in plain sight. Coin number 3. We're diving into the fascinating world of American coin collecting to explore a coin that might be sitting in your change jar, your old wallet, or an inherited coin folder without you ever realizing its true worth. This isn't just any coin. We're talking about the 1983 Kennedy half-dollar with the Philadelphia mint mark, yes, the one with the little P stamped above the date. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a coin from the 80s, how rare can it really be? Well, buckle up, because by the end of this video, you'll see just how rare, how collectible, and how incredibly valuable this particular half-dollar can be if you've got the right one. Let's rewind for a moment and talk about the Kennedy half-dollar itself. Introduced in 1964, it was created to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination in 1963. Americans were devastated, and the U.S. Mint rushed to create a coin that would immortalize his legacy. Ever since then, the Kennedy half-dollar has been one of the most iconic coins in U.S. currency. Over the years, millions have been made, but as any seasoned collector will tell you, it's not about how many were minted, it's about how many remain in pristine condition, and whether they have any unique traits that set them apart. Now let's talk specifically about the year 1983. This was an important time in American coinage. The mint had recently gone through changes in metal composition and coin production. From 1971 onward, the Kennedy half-dollar was made with a copper-nickel clad composition rather than the original 90% silver. And by the early 80s, public use of half-dollars had significantly declined. People just didn't use them in daily transactions anymore. As a result, the mint produced fewer, and most ended up in storage, collector sets, or occasional circulation. The 1983 Kennedy half-dollar minted in Philadelphia with that P mark is particularly intriguing for a few reasons. First, the mintage numbers weren't especially high, especially compared to previous decades. But more importantly, the coins that were released into circulation often saw heavy use. That means most 1983 P half-dollars you'll find today are scratched, nicked, dull, or worn down. Finding one in near-perfect, uncirculated condition? That's where things start to get really exciting, and it's not just condition that makes a coin valuable. Sometimes, certain minting errors or varieties make coins truly one of a kind. In the case of the 1983 P Kennedy half-dollar, there are known examples with dramatic strike doubling, off-center designs, or die cracks. These kinds of mint errors are extremely rare and collectors go wild for them. Combine a flawless, untouched surface with a striking error or a sharp, strong die impression, and you're suddenly in the territory of serious money. And now, let's talk grading for a moment. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect, flawless coin. Anything above 65 is considered superb. But here's the kicker. Only a handful of 1983 P Kennedy half-dollars have ever achieved grades like MS-67 or MS-68. And those that have? They're not just coins anymore, they're investments. Picture this, a coin that has survived over 4 decades without a single fingerprint, scratch, or blemish. A coin that was struck perfectly, stored carefully, and maybe even overlooked for years until someone took a closer look. That kind of rarity doesn't just attract hobbyists, it attracts serious collectors, investors, and auction houses. So, how do you know if you might have one of these valuable coins? First, check the date and mint mark. You're looking for 1983 on the front and a small p just above the year. Then, check the condition. Does it still shine like it just left the mint? Are all the details on Kennedy's face and the presidential seal on the back crisp and clear? If the answer is yes, you might be holding something very special. And if you suspect it could be uncirculated or rare, consider getting it professionally graded. That small step can turn a 50-cent coin into something truly extraordinary, and remember, rarity isn't just about low mintage. It's about survival. How many of these coins still exist in near-perfect condition today? Very, very few. And that's what drives value in the world of numismatics. Now, you've waited patiently, and it's time for the moment you've been waiting for. What could this seemingly ordinary 1983p Kennedy half-dollar actually be worth? If you're lucky enough to own one in flawless, mint-state condition, with a top-tier grade and possibly even a rare mint error, it could be worth as much as $65,000. That's right. $65,000 for a coin most people wouldn't give a second glance. That's the magic of coin collecting, and the reason it pays to know what you're looking at. So don't forget to check those old coin jars, mint sets, or inherited collections. That little piece of copper nickel in your hands might just be the ticket to an unexpected windfall. Thanks for joining us on this numismatic adventure. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden value of the 1983p Kennedy half-dollar, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for more stories about coins that could change your life. We've got plenty more discoveries coming your way, because in the world of coins, the next treasure might just be a flip away. Until next time, keep collecting, keep learning, and keep your eyes open, because history and fortune often hide in plain sight. Coin number 4. We're going to explore a coin that might seem modern, common, and unassuming, but behind its simple shine lies a story that has stunned collectors and left many wondering, could this ordinary half-dollar be worth a fortune? You might want to check your coin jars, your childhood collections, or that stash of coins you inherited from a grandparent, because we're talking about the 1998 Kennedy half-dollar with the Philadelphia mint mark, and if you have the right one, you might just be holding on to something incredibly rare and valuable. Let's start with the basics. The Kennedy half-dollar has been in production since 1964, created just months after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The coin was intended as a national tribute to a leader whose life was cut short, and since then, it has become a collector's favorite, both for its design and for the emotional weight it carries in American history. By 1998, the Kennedy half-dollar had been circulating for over 3 decades. But the way people used it had changed dramatically. Half-dollars were no longer part of daily transactions. They weren't something you'd get in change at the grocery store anymore. In fact, by the late 1990s, the U.S. Mint was producing fewer and fewer half-dollars for circulation, and most of them were being made for collectors rather than everyday use. That's why the 1998p Kennedy half-dollar is so interesting. It was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, indicated by the small letter P located just above the year on the coin's obverse. Now, millions were made that year, but as every serious collector knows, quantity isn't the only thing that matters. What matters is condition, rarity, and hidden surprises. Let's talk about the condition first. Most coins that make it into circulation go through a rough life. They get passed around, dropped, scratched, tossed in jars, or banged against other coins. So, while there may be millions of 1998p Kennedy half-dollars out there, very few remain in pristine, uncirculated condition. A flawless coin, preserved for decades without a single mark, can become something truly special, and that's where coin grading comes into play. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale. Higher numbers mean better condition. A coin graded MS-60 is considered uncirculated, but it might still have minor marks. A coin graded MS-67, MS-68, or above is nearly perfect, and that's when collectors start paying serious money. The truth is, very few 1998p Kennedy half-dollars have ever been professionally graded at that level. And that's scarcity? That's exactly what turns a common coin into a highly valuable collector's item, but wait, it gets better. There's another factor that makes certain 1998 Kennedy half-dollars extremely rare: minting errors. These are accidental flaws made during the production process, things like off-center strikes, doubled dies, clipped planchets, or missing details. These errors are unintentional, but for collectors, they're gold. A minting mistake on a coin in already excellent condition can make it a one-of-a-kind find, something that even major collectors will pay big bucks to get their hands on. And here's something you might not know: 1998 was also a transitional year for the Kennedy half-dollar series. While the regular 1998p was being minted in copper-nickel for general use, the mint also released special silver matte finish proofs for collectors, including a rare 1998s coin that came with the Robert F. Kennedy commemorative silver dollar set. Although that's a different coin, the buzz around 1998 half dollars in general has made all versions of that year more sought after, especially when high-grade examples or rare errors show up. So what does this mean for you? Well, if you happen to have a 1998 Kennedy half dollar with a P mint mark, and it looks unusually crisp or untouched, take a closer look. If the details on Kennedy's hair, face, and the eagle on the reverse are sharp and clear, if the coin has a brilliant luster and shows no signs of wear, it might be worth sending in to get professionally graded. You never know what might turn up under magnification: a small doubling in the lettering, a strike anomaly, or a flawless surface that puts it in the top 1% of surviving coins from that year. Collectors are always hunting for that next big discovery, the coin that breaks auction records, surprises the market, or fills a missing spot in a high-end collection. And yes, even a relatively modern coin like the 1998p Kennedy half dollar can rise to the top if it's rare enough, clean enough, and unique enough. Now you've stayed with us this far, and you're probably wondering, just how much could one of these rare 1998p Kennedy half dollars actually be worth? Well, if you're lucky enough to own a near-perfect, mint condition coin with an exceptional grade, or perhaps one with a rare minting error, it could be valued as high as $58,000. Yes, you heard that right. $58,000 for a coin that might be sitting unnoticed in a drawer or folder right now. That's the thrill of coin collecting, the idea that something small, simple, and overlooked can hold unbelievable value. So what are you waiting for? Go take a look through your coins, check your collections, and see if a 1998p Kennedy half dollar is hiding in plain sight. You might just be sitting on a forgotten fortune. Not if you enjoyed this video and want to hear more amazing stories about valuable coins and how to spot them, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new discovery. Because in the world of coins, every date, every detail, and every small mark could lead to something incredible. Until next time, keep collecting, stay curious, and remember, history isn't just found in books, it's right there in your hands. Coin number 5. If you've ever glanced at the coins in your drawer and thought, there's nothing special here, today's video might just change your mind. Because sitting right under your nose could be one of the most unexpectedly valuable modern coins in U.S. history. Today, we're talking about the 2000 Kennedy half dollar, minted in Philadelphia. Look for that small P just above the date. It may look like your average coin, but under the right circumstances, it could be worth far, far more than its original 50-cent face value. How much more? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why collectors are keeping their eyes peeled for this exact coin and what could make one worth a jaw-dropping amount of money. Let's rewind a bit and set the stage. The Kennedy half dollar first appeared in 1964, just months after the nation mourned the loss of President John F. Kennedy. It was a tribute unlike any other, and Americans embraced it wholeheartedly. For years, the Kennedy half dollar was a symbol of hope, youth, and modern leadership, but as the decades rolled by, the half dollar gradually disappeared from everyday life. People stopped using it in routine transactions. Banks stopped stocking it. And by the time we get to the year 2000, the Kennedy half dollar had become more of a collector's piece than a circulating coin. That's where the mystery begins. The 2000 Kennedy half dollar minted in Philadelphia was never released into wide circulation. That's right, these coins weren't meant to show up in your change. They were produced specifically for coin collectors, most often included in mint sets and souvenir packs. And because of this, fewer of them were handled, spent, or circulated. But here's the twist: not all of them were preserved carefully. You see, not every collector back in 2000 stored their coins properly. Some mint sets were broken up, some coins were handled, and others got damaged over time. So even though millions of these coins were technically produced, the number of examples that have survived in absolutely flawless, uncirculated, and mint state condition is extremely small. Now let's dive into why that matters. In the world of coin collecting, condition is king. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, and anything above a 65 is already considered high quality. A coin graded MS-67, MS-68, or higher is almost perfect, no scratches, no discoloration, no flaws visible even under magnification. These are the coins that make collectors go wild. And the 2000p Kennedy half dollar, when found in that kind of condition, becomes a standout, but that's not the only reason this coin is gaining attention. Minting errors have also been reported for this issue. These are mistakes made during the manufacturing process that result in coins with strange features, off-center strikes, missing layers, double dies, and clipped planchets. Errors like these are very rare, but when they occur on coins like the 2000p Kennedy half dollar, which were never supposed to be in mass circulation, it makes them even more exciting and valuable. Imagine a coin that was never supposed to leave the US Mint in flawed condition, slipping through the cracks with a mint error intact, and somehow ending up in someone's private collection. It's like finding a secret message from the Mint's production floor, and collectors are more than happy to pay top dollar for that kind of one-in-a-million oddity. Even without errors, coins from this year in perfect condition are becoming harder and harder to find. As time passes, even coins kept in relatively good condition may develop spots, dull luster, or tiny nicks from handling. So, if you happen to have a 2000 Kennedy half dollar with a Philadelphia Mint mark that looks untouched, stored properly, with sharp details and no signs of wear, you could be holding onto something much more valuable than you realize. Now, let's talk about the design. The front of the coin features the timeless portrait of President John F. Kennedy, bold and determined, facing left. His hair, eyes, and jawline are intricately detailed, and on a high-grade coin, those features should be razor-sharp. On the reverse side, we see the iconic presidential seal, an eagle with outstretched wings holding an olive branch and arrows, surrounded by stars and radiating lines of power. The symbolism is powerful, and the craftsmanship of a well-struck Kennedy half dollar makes it a beautiful piece of American numismatic art. So how can you tell if your 2000p Kennedy half dollar is worth a second look? Start by checking for that P mint mark. Then examine its surface. Does it shine like a freshly struck coin? Can you see every detail in Kennedy's profile and the eagle's feathers? If so, your next step might be to get it professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. A professional grade is what separates ordinary coins from the extraordinary ones in the collector world, and here comes the big question you've been waiting for. What is this coin, this 2000 Kennedy half dollar from the Philadelphia Mint, actually worth? If your coin is a rare, mint state gem, especially one graded near the top of the scale or featuring a unique mint error, it could command a value of $45,000. Yes, that's $45,000 for a coin most people would overlook. That's the kind of hidden treasure we live for. And it's the reason we tell these stories, because in the world of coins, anything is possible. So go ahead, pull out that old collection, flip through your mint sets, and take a closer look at the coins you thought were ordinary. You might just be holding a piece of American history and a fortune in your palm. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins and valuable finds, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss another opportunity to learn something amazing. We've got plenty more incredible coin stories coming your way. Until next time, keep collecting, stay curious, and remember, sometimes the most valuable treasures aren't buried underground, they're already in your hands.